It is important to note that as you increase the class width, it is possible to lose too much information. If your class widths are too large, you may lose too much information to capture or display any useful information about the data or the shape of the overall distribution. Let's look at a few examples. In this first GFDT, we have class widths of 20. The second GFDT has an even bigger class width of 30. Of course, we end up with fewer and fewer classes because our class widths are so big. Yes, this does give GFDTs with fewer rows, but the one thing we note is that it is now nearly impossible to see the bimodal distribution of the data at all in either of these two graphical displays. That is, with this much information having been condensed into such a small space. Also, we note that to get the tally plots to show up here without going on endlessly to the right, we had to let each tally mark represent more than one student. In the first plot, on the left with a GFDT with a class width of 20, each mark represents 4 students. Rounded up means that if there were an excess of 1, 2, or 3 students, then they get rounded up to a new bunch of 4. Likewise, for the second plot, each tally mark represents 5 students. So even in this tally plot for the corresponding GFDT, we've lost even more information about the precise count for the data set. As we can see here, the 4 tally marks in the last class could actually represent a frequency of 16 up to 20. We simply don't know. But without the raw data, we simply wouldn't know the quote-unquote true value. At some point, we simply might lose too much information to be reasonably useful. There might be a reason why you want such a condensed GFDT with only 2 classes, such as the graphic display shown here. For example, you may want to simply convey how many students failed the test compared to those who passed, say a score of 60%, which is 72 points on this exam, or higher. This could be a GFDT with 2 rows, or a tally plot as shown here, with each tally representing a new group of 3 students. But in a case like this, it probably would be better to display this information in a pie chart or something similar.